the Honorable Kagabo yesterday at about 5 o'clock. Came here wanting to see me, or the cow, like he stated, to respond to a directive of our party and the party leadership in relation to the corridor talk. We were following that some members of parliament had received money illegally, the equivalent of 40 million. I would like to inform the country that as NUP, to which I'm Deputy President, Central, and the LOP in Parliament, attended a meeting at the party headquarters in which the Honourable Member made some revelations about this money. I followed up with another meeting of NUP members here in the boardroom, upon which the Honourable Member, again, you interviewed him, I recollect, at the media, and he said he had mistaken his gratuity for that money. Now the Honourable Member requested to come here and say something I am yet to hear, probably the same thing or something different. As a leader, it's only fair that the Honourable Member is given a chance to tell us something, either new or reassert his former position, and then we should be able to advise him as leaders. I think the reason why, when he came yesterday, he came with the media. I found no reason blocking the media from being a part of what he wants to say this morning. It's the reason I asked the members of the Shadow Cabinet to stay behind, to listen to our own. It's only fair that is given audience to make his statement. Dr. Twaha, it's your space.
Thank you, Honorable Lop. Honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Kagabo Twaha is my name, Member of Parliament, Bukoto South. As you are aware, as the leader of opposition has mentioned it, some time ago, I received the money to a tune of 40 million on my account. And shortly after that, I was also invited to pick money, 40 million, which money I was told was an arrangement internally from Parliament. And I received this money. Few days later, we were summoned at the party headquarters, from which the party hierarchy advised that that money was evil. We were not supposed to receive that money if really we are to stand and abide to the norms of our party, the vision we envisage, and the honesty that we needed to stand by, given the circumstances of the turmoil that we waded through the campaigns, during our rallies, and what we promised our supporters, that we would be people of discipline, reliable, people of integrity, and faithful to the party hierarchy and the nation at large. So the party position was that whoever received the money should take it back either to the leader of opposition or the chief opposition whip, as investigations go on to really find substantive, profound information about the source of money and the intent. By then, the directive was within 48 hours, which I couldn't meet because I had to summon my mines also. But when I retreated into my constituency, the same question again continued to rise. My people would ask me the same. Are you not becoming treacherous to the party, president, and the hierarchy? Because at least we heard you confessed you took the money. What befell the money? Did you take it back, or it is the money you're using to move around? So I felt concerned, and given that the party position was still at large, yesterday I organized my courage to bring back the 40 million as I had been directed by the party hierarchy. I had earlier called the whip who was away, and he had promised to be here today, but I felt impatient that I didn't need to wait anymore, and I decided to advance to meet the leader of opposition yesterday, who was a little bit engaged and advised that I come back today for the same. That is it.
Okay. Doctor, I want to thank you, first of all, as a leader in the party, as a member who attended the several meetings about this subject matter, and your decision to come clean. That should be the spirit of every member that professes the alternative. You probably, again for clarity and for en route processing of your desire, wish to make it clear to all and sundry. Somebody called you for this money. Remember who called you, again for clarity.
In this, I wouldn't want to be a spokesperson of anybody in this, but like everybody is aware, the flow of information, it is somebody called me. But I would like to keep everything on to me until anybody else wants to confess on him or herself.
Thank you. Then exactly, and lastly, do you want to tell the country where exactly and physically you picked the money? Because that is helpful. Exactly and physically.
Yeah, I picked this money from the speaker's home.
The speaker's home? Okay. And you can still locate the speaker's home?
Yes, I can, but the party position was that I bring the money here so that the big people of the party advance the matter.
Now, that's very okay. Now, I want to thank you for doing that exactly. And in advancing transparency, as the leader, I am going to give my security to the honorable member to return the money where he picked it as a way of being transparent. What he has done in coming to the rope is very okay. And the role of the rope is to advise when the member decides to confess. And my advisor is that I'm going to give my escorts to take the money to the speaker's residence. If it was the speaker's home, it would have been easier for me, probably I would have crossed with him, office. But for the home where he picked it, it is easier. I think my security has a vehicle. You can choose to drive yours, and should be done today and now without fail. Because this is what really probably the country wanted, and they want to thank the honorable member for that courage. I think that is it for today. I want to thank you, and it's the best way of dealing with public affairs. Thank you. Basebo ne banyabo member ba shadow cabinet ate n'abamawulire munywanyi wange mugana we Dr. Kagabo yanunyezaako olunaku lwajjo naye yansanze nkwataganye n'ensonga za ofiisi nga nnyingi naye oluvannyuma namukubidde ne mubuuza ensonga enkulu gy'adda neetaaza kubanga baga nti omubaka akunoonya nga lop olina okutwala obuvunaanyizibwa okutegeera omubaka yadde ayetaaga kinantegeeza nti ensonga ya ssente miliyoni 4 ze yafuna era ne mubuuza nti ku byewasooka okwogera waliwo ekikyuse nti ye njala kuzzaayo ssente zino gye nazijja ne muwa amagezi ajja obudde buno nga mmanyi nja kubaawo mu shadow cabinet nsobole okufuna ensonga ye naye engeri gye yabadde azze yantegeeza nti yadde azze n'abamawulire era ne mugamba tobalekaayo jangu nabo kyamagezi ensonga eno eggwere mu musana nga bw'osazeewo okuvaayo omubaka tumuwuliriza ategeezezza byonna bye yayiseemu kubanga ng'ekibiina twafuna meeting ku kitebe yali ekubizibwa president ne tuyisa ekiragiro nti bwe yafuna ssente ezo azizeeyo era abajjukira ekiwandiiko ekyayisibwa omwogezi w'ekibiina yali ategeeza bulungi abantu abali bakakasiza nti baafuna ssente naye Dr. Kagabo ono oluvannyuma ate yagamba nti nedda yali ezize eza gratuity ebeeza akasimu ka Parliament zalowoozeza nti ze ziri naye n'antegeeza jjo nti ate alinayo version endala gy'atutegeezezza era olw'okuba nti ategeezezza nti ensimbi tiyazijja mu Parliament wano yazijja mu maka ga Speaker wa Parliament mwebaziza okusooka okubeera omuvumu n'asalawo okweggyako ekizibu ekibadde ku mutima gwe era ne muwa amagezi nti nze nga omukulembeze we recording tutte ndi ye ssente ze asazeewo zikomyawo era ngenda muwa ttiimu yange y'abakuumi bamuwerekere si kulwa nga bazimusalako ate mu kkubo azitwale azizze yazijja bukolokolo ndoza kijja tuyamba n'abalala abadde balinamu ensisi nga bamanyi gye bajja ssente zino bazizeeyo n'olwekyo njala kwebaza Dr. Kagabo olw'obumalirivu ogamba nti kino si kituufu ndowooza omutima gwaffe buli mwali eyo omutima gwe nga gumuwolereza naye nga tannafuna bumalirivu bukole ekyo akole ekyo obudde bukyaliwo tibudde sobola kubeera leeti kugamba nti bannange nakola ensobi n'olwekyo Dr. tumwebaza mwebali
ab'ebitiibwa abakuŋŋaanye wano nze Dr. Kagabo Twaha mbaka wa Bukoto South nafuna ssente miliyoni 4 okuva ewa sipiika mu kiseera ekyo kyekiseera ekimu era bwe nafunira ne ssente endala eza gratuity yensonga lwaki wali nasooka kulowooza nti gratuity naye nakitegeera bulungi nnyo nti gratuity naye erina kuyita ssente zonna zirina kuyita ku akawunti yange twayitibwa mu lukiiko olufuzi olw'ekibiina kyange kya National Unity Platform oluvannyuma lw'okubeera nti amawulire ago baali bagafunye nti waliwo ssente ziweereddwa ababaka ne batutegeeza nti ssente ezo oba zitya ssente mbi ze tubadde tujja tulwanirira ze tubadde tujja tuvumirira nga tetunnajja mu Parliament naffe era kuba kulyamu bantu baffe bannayuganda lukwe n'obutalumirirwa abo abaafuna ebizibu mu lutalo lwe twalimu n'abaatufaako ssente tuzikwate tuzizzeeyo naye baasalawo mu kaseera ako nti ssente ezo tuzireete ewa akulira oludda oluvuganya mu Parliament oba whip waffe nga bwe beeyongera okunoonyereza ekituufu naye olunaku lw'eggulo navuddeyo ne mbeera nga nsazeewo ssente ezo nzizze olw'omulanga n'abantu bange benkulembera mu Bukoto South bye baŋŋambyeko mu weekend gye nabaddeyo nabo, n'okubeera nga nti ekiragiro kya pate kibadde kikyaliwo kigenda mu maaso tekikyukanga. So Oweekitiibwa namusanze alina ensonga z'akwataganya endala, nansaba nkomewo olwaleero ensonga eyo tugimalirize, era nga bwe muwulidde n'asaba ampe obukuumi nzizeeyo ssente ezo gye nazijja olw'okubeera omwerufu, okusobola okubeera nti tuyimirirawo ku nnono zaffe ez'ekibiina kyaffe ez'okubeera omuntu ow'empisa, omuntu ayeesigika, omuntu omwesimbu, omuntu aweekitiibwa ekibiina n'abakulembeze baakyo. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala.
I did not give him any money. I don't even know him. For information, he has been a member of Parliament here, but I don't know him. And based on that, this is a breach of conduct of this House. It is an abuse to this House. Honorable members, we cannot allow that kind of behavior in this 11th Parliament. I therefore refer the member to the Rules Committee, and it must be reported back in 1 month. This House is not for playing politics. He has to show us who gave him the money, from where, and what was the money meant for. And as I've always said, when we're in this House, there are no political parties. We are one. It is our responsibility to protect the image of this House. And he may have to face the law. When you start doing that kind of behavior, you will have to face the law. And being a member of Parliament, you know what it means. You know what it means. Honorable members, in a bid to strengthen the evidence-based legislation, the Parliamentary Commission has established 3 resource centers, fully equipped with computers, printing services, and these are in the library, in Development House. 2 is Kingdom, Kampala. The clerk has shared these details of their location on your emails. Please make best use of these resource centers for us to do better legislation. Honorable members, on 6th August 2022, our own Kiplimo won yet another gold medal at the 2022 Commonwealth Games. We really want to congratulate him upon that. And now we have 3 gold medals and 2 bronze medals. I once again want to congratulate the team and reiterate that we will have a motion in this House paying tribute to those gallant sons of Uganda. And finally, I want to thank the honorable members again for taking off time to be in the House. Matters of national importance.
At about 1 o'clock, we received a complaint from the Criminal Investigations Department of Parliament about a suspect they had arrested with allegations of extortion of money and receiving a bribe of 40 million Uganda shillings. The CID Police of Parliament referred the matter to us because the Inspectorate of Government is the lead anti-corruption agency. So the matter concerns a Member of Parliament, Honorable Kagabo Twaha, a Member of Parliament of Bukoto South, and the investigations have begun in the Inspectorate of Government. We have the suspect with us here, and we are taking statements from him because he is alleged to have received money from some culprits who are yet to be established. So we have taken over the matter and we have commenced investigations, and depending on the outcome, he shall be arraigned at the Anti-Corruption Court to be charged accordingly. But right now, it is still very premature to get into, to divulge into the details and to make committal statements. We need to first of all establish what was the source of that money, who paid it into his account, what was the purpose, before we can take necessary action. Because in law, he who alleges must prove. So we shall not only stop at taking the statements from the suspect, but we shall go ahead and get also statements from Parliament, from the CID, the Criminal Investigations Department of Parliament, so that we have further and better particulars. We ascertain where is this money coming from, what is, if he saw it on his account, who put it there, and we have got the capacity to do that. You see, the Anti-Corruption Act is very clear. The Anti-Corruption Act outlines what are the offenses of corruption, and bribery is among those. They are ingredients of bribery. First of all, it catches not only the recipients, but also the giver. Who is the giver and who is the recipient? What was the source of this money? So that is basically what we are going to be investigating. But we have not yet completed, as I have told you, we still have the suspect with us, and they're taking statements from him. But there is no cause of alarm. The Inspectorate of Government has taken control of it. And if we ascertain that this is government money, we shall take it back to government and put it on our asset recovery fund. But at the moment, we have the money as exhibit. We shall keep it as we investigate the matter. If we ascertain that it is government money, it will be returned back to government. We have read about it. We have taken interest. We have taken up the matter and begun investigating. So as the Inspectorate of Government, Parliament, by the way, is our supervisor. We report to Parliament. Now, when you have an institution higher than yours whom you report to, the matters, the way you treat such intricate issues, matters to do with such issues are not normally for the camera. So we have a number of cases here involving even some staff of Parliament, involving even some members of Parliament. So we treat the matters with confidentiality, and even as we apply the law with logic. What is the point of me harassing you now and tomorrow I'm bringing my report back to you? So we have to have a certain level of integrity within which we treat these matters, and also with confidentiality, so that we don't spoil the working relationship. Because for us to score as the Inspectorate of Government, we have to have strong coalitions with the institutions. And at the same time, we have to clean up the institutions. Where there are some bad apples, we descend, investigate, and clean up the institutions. But most of what we do sometimes is not for cameras, unfortunately. Oh, for the case of Kawa Kagabo, they have found him with 40 million. And it is suspected that it's alleged that it is a bribe. So the purpose, the reason why he is here, because he was referred, the matter was referred to us to investigate, and we have to ascertain whether it's a bribe or not. But in the meantime, he can be treated as a suspect. We'll take the statements, He will support in the investigations. We will get further and better particulars from Parliament, and then we will treat it as such. Well, this is not a very high-profile case because you can see it is not the case of Mputa, which people are looking for the billions or trillions. And Honorable Kagabo cannot run away. So once he has given us information that we need, and we still need a lot more from him to respond to probably what we are going to get from the other side, we are going to engage with him, and then he will be granted bond, and we let him go. As and when we need him, we shall still summon him to come and respond to some of the issues we need from him. Yes.
Any timelines?
We want to do it as quick as possible because, you know, investigations cases, when you take time, evidence is tampered with and then the case dies away. So we want to do it as a matter of urgency because also if he's involved in taking a bribe, we need to send a message to the Ugandans, to other members of Parliament that this is wrong. If he's free and not guilty, we also still need to communicate and let people know this was an allegation, this man is actually free. So we need to balance the evidence that comes across before we make any committal statements concerning him. The suspect is still being talked to, and we will get that information when they conclude the interview with him. But, well, it will be ascertained where he got the money from. Like I told you, we need to know what was the source of the money. If it was dropped into his account or if it was handed over to him, we need to ascertain the source, and we also need to ascertain the purpose before we can make any conclusions. So like I told you right now, we cannot make any committal statements, but when we ascertain that, then we shall take action, the necessary action, so that we have the matter resolved. Yes. Comment on that. Well, the head is my principal, and it is not good manners to talk about your principal, with due respect. But we have been working very well as a team. If you're saying she's implicated, to me it is an allegation. It is an allegation which has got to be justified, which has got to be proved. As long as it is not proved, we have to continue working together. And if they're losing trust in us, you know, there are certain things which are tested over time. They have to entrust us with their confidence so that we are able to work together. Because Parliament does oversight work on institutions and they're our supervisors. We report to them. Now, if your father is losing trust in you, the son, then where else do you run to? You know, we always will have to continue running back to them. But one thing is that we need to encourage the members of Parliament to be people of integrity, to be people who are honest, to be people who do not only play politics, but they also teach people and pass on good messages to do with fighting corruption, because you have to fight corruption in an exemplary manner. You cannot send a message of corruption when you yourself, you're what? Corrupt. And we need to do this together. So for me, the message I have for them is that they should continue to build trust in us. They are the ones who vetted us when we were appointed. And they're like our parent. We will always keep running back to them. So we need to build strong working relationships among the institutions so that we deal with the vice of corruption together and avoid pointing fingers and finding fault, because there is nobody who is perfect. Even personally, I also have my mistakes, but I do not have to smear my mistakes all over the place. I have to do my work professionally according to the mandate given to the institution. So I think that is the best we need to do in order to deal with corruption in this country. It is not a very good picture for the country, but you know, if your child is misbehaving, do you deny parentage? You don't deny parentage, you own up and look at how best you can clean up. So if it is a bad image for the state, we need to find ways of cleaning up and improving, which means we have to work hard to do with things to do with mindset change, especially among the leaders, among the students in universities, because they're the future leaders, among the young people, and spread the message across the country. Because now we cannot, or when you fall down, you remain lying there. No, you get up, you pick up your pieces and walk and move on with confidence. Even if people are saying, well, there's a problem in the country, you put your head high and say there's a problem, but what is it that I as an individual can do about the problem? Yeah, face it squarely, deal with it, wipe it out. Because corruption, fighting corruption is a battle. When you go for war, you have to scope the enemy. You have to know the tactics the enemy has in order to deal with the enemy in a battle. So what are the tools we are using? We need to concentrate more on creating awareness and sensitizing the people about corruption, the forms of corruption, the effects of corruption, and how they can come in to join the war against corruption. That's why we are saying the citizens need to own this war. Because at the end of the day, they themselves are the victims of corruption. They are the ones who don't find drugs in hospital if they are stolen. They are the ones who are exposed to poor service delivery if the people supposed to do better service delivery are busy embezzling and the money and stealing it away. So we need to empower our people to own the war against corruption, rally behind the institutions like the IG in fighting corruption, and together we will make a difference. Right now we need money for parish development model, but if we can save the money that is being stolen in this country, we will have it all. We will be able to afford education for our children, healthcare, the socio-economic rights you talk about will all be addressed, well addressed actually, if we deal with the problem. And you know the interesting thing, it is just a few people who are involved, not everybody. The majority of the people are the ones who are victims, but the few people, if we can deal with the few and change mindset, then I think this country will go a long way in fighting the scourge of corruption. Well, the law is very, very clear, but also I must tell you that corruption is so intricate. It is like an amoeba. It's hard to prove some of the offenses of corruption. Like a bribery, for instance. If someone gave you a bribe and then you're arrested and you have that bribe in your pocket, you can say, no, this money I got it from somewhere else. So somebody has to lay a trap in order to catch you and photocopy that money and stamp it and print it, or take a picture of you in the process of receiving it. So if it is alleged that someone did receive a bribe, is that evidence available? Did they take a picture of that person receiving the bribe? Is it documented somewhere that this transaction took place from bank to bank? So for us, in the process of investigating, we do check bank to bank. We look out for those. If the allegation has come, then we have to quickly think, and we need to keep coming with new innovative ways of dealing with it. And setting traps is one of those. Yes, the trap is set. Somebody comes and says, I have just paid a bribe. We had photocopied the money, and the serial numbers are here, and the evidence can be presented before court when it comes to prosecution. We have the money as exhibit. The allegation is that money, a bribe of 40 million, was received. We have the money as exhibit. Pictures have been taken. I am not so sure whether they have taken the pictures of the money or photocopied them to get the serialized numbers, but we have it as exhibit. If we investigate and prove that this is government money, we return it back to government. It will go to our asset recovery fund. We say, well, this was government money. It was being used for purposes of this and that. And also a bribe so that what? People give a bribe like you give me to influence my decision, probably in a case I'm prosecuting. But a bribe, what was it meant to do? Was it meant to change somebody's perception? Was it meant to influence somebody's decision? What was the purpose? Now, this is what the investigations will be able to establish. But otherwise now, it is still very premature for us to make many statements or comments about it, because it's something that just came to our attention this afternoon, and we have just taken it up for investigations, and we want to handle it expeditiously so that we have the matter resolved. Yes, if it is established that the Honorable Member of Parliament is guilty, the matter will go to the Anti-Corruption Court to make that decision. If he is free, we will set him free and still, communicate to you that, this honorable, we actually established ABCD, he is not guilty. So basically, that is what we intend to do. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, we thank you for your communication that is very elaborate and clear to this House. Right Honourable Speaker, when you look at the leadership code which this Parliament passed, a leader who receives a bribe or declared to have received a bribe or a gift or anything of monetary value must declare that item to the Office of the Inspector General within 24 hours, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, when you communicated, I also saw a member parading and moving around the streets of Kampala, the corridors of Parliament. I saw him going to the office of the Leader of Opposition, first with the money, returning it there. Then he goes to every place claiming that he received a bribe of 40 million, and he does not specify where exactly he got this money. Wouldn't it be procedurally right, Right Honourable Speaker, that the Inspector General takes interest in this matter and investigates this member, because these are issues of morality in society. If we members of Parliament cannot have integrity and moral upstanding in society and stand with our words, then who will? Which Ugandan will? We as leaders must stand by example. So the procedural matter I'm raising on, would it be procedure right for this Parliament to refer this member and instruct the Office of the Inspector General to handle him on matters of corruption and receiving a bribe? I beg to submit, Right Honourable Speaker.
There is a clarification from Morris.
Honourable Speaker, the practice of this Parliament is that the moment information goes unanswered and it touches one of the MPs, the name is mentioned. Kindly, I'm seeking clarification from the Honourable whether it's okay to mention the name, since he said somebody was parading everywhere.
I had already talked, Morris.
The Honourable
just come. I had already talked about the name, mental health.
Madam Speaker, I want to agree. I'm the chairman of the Uganda Parliamentary Forum on Mental Health. I thought it was a joke. When
he's the chairman of mental health.
Yes.
I didn't say it.
Yes. And Madam Chair, I am proud to say I have 210 members from this House. Madam Chair, when I saw this on social media, I thought it was a joke. The House of Integrity in every country is the temple of legislation. And people who are in that house are called honorables. Madam Speaker, as my colleague Honorable Serwanyi has stipulated in the law, this brings a lot of question marks to the mentioned member, Dr. Twaha. I don't know whether he's a real doctor or a traditional doctor, because or a descriptive researcher as per se, but I believe what he's alleging, it has many questions to answer. Because first of all, Madam Speaker is not a cashier, Madam Speaker is not a businesswoman, Madam Speaker, I know all questions will be answered in the committee you have referred, but as the chairperson of Uganda Parliamentary Forum, Uganda, the other day we mentioned in the papers that we have almost 14 million people who have mental health issues. I suspect this honourable member might have issues, and I therefore propose, on addition to the reference given by Honourable Serwanyi, the honourable member should be referred for mental examination, because you cannot, in a situation of a constituency, even if he picked a man on the road, where he comes from in Rwengo, where cows are dying for lack of water, people are dying because they have no food, Rwengo hospitals have no medicine, schools in Rwengo, children go to school. The other day I was seeing on media without shoes, and you say you picked a man on the road and you have nowhere until you dump it to the lobe. And this brings a shame to our side. I therefore, Madam Speaker, that for better maturity in leadership of this country and governance, political parties should begin vetting and having mental tests of leaders before they are recommended to contest as members of Parliament. I did pray that this member should be taken for mental evaluation to see whether he's okay. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, the Code of Conduct of Members of Parliament is well enumerated in Appendix F of the Rules of Procedure, which among others deal with personal conduct, corruption, public trust, and improper use of payments. And as I've already guided, I accordingly invoke Rule 175(1)B of the Rules of Procedure and refer the member to the Committee of Rules, Privileges and Discipline. This committee should investigate within 1 hour. And one month, within 1 month. And members, I don't think we should continue a debate on this. Matters of national importance, Honorable Nambeshe.